All right, so it's a bit blustery today as I scan around my parking lot looking for the next victim. That Delica's got to come in here and get some work done, so I'm going to clear a spot and bring it in. You can probably hear the wind blowing. I have a lot of projects, but I'm thankful because it's not pouring down rain. It's probably 45 degrees, sort of balmy, sort of nice. Today we're going to do a video on something a little different. Not Stella. You can see my shop dog there. Oh, she's camera shy, of course. A little different, some infrastructure of the shop. So I'm getting ready to move this little Subaru mini truck out, did a bunch of work on it, and I'm waiting for parts. I'm kind of stuck. And I thought, why don't I do a video on how I keep myself warm in the winter? I've been in the shop 25 years, 27 years, and I've found a way to do it. Let's see what this thermometer says. So it's showing 51 degrees. That's warmer than I would have thought. I think it's because I got the door open. It's about 45 outside, so don't pay attention to that thermometer, but it's still fairly warm. A lot of you guys work in sub-zero climates, and heating your shop, a big shop like this, which is 3,000 square feet and it's super tall inside, 22-foot ceilings, takes a lot of heat, takes a lot of energy to make that heat. So what do? If you've noticed, I'm going to try to shine this up here without blinding you. There's a big red box that sits up above those lights up there, and that's my oil furnace. In other words, it burns waste oil. It's a waste oil furnace, and I'm going to get into showing you how that works. It works awesome. I've had it for many years. This blue drum you see next to my toolbox here is a 55-gallon drum, and I put the waste oil in there. And how I do that is I drain it out of a car, a truck, like this one right here. I put it into my mobile dolly, and it gets kind of screened one time. You can see the nasty stuff there. As it goes down the neck and into the reservoir, there's a pump on there, and I can crank that and pump it out. And what I do is, so that's the first filtering, is just the screening of nuts and bolts and big chunks and sludge and that type of thing. I can scrape that out with my hand and throw it away. When that gets full, that dolly, I'll bring it over here, and there's a funnel on top of this drum that also has a filter in it. Let's pull this filter out. It's just a paint filter. You can see the scum in there. We'll put a new one in. Got a stack of new filters here. So put in a new paint filter. What is the microns on these? 30, 40? I don't know. They come with paint supplies, usually. I don't know that it really matters. So I put that in the bottom of the funnel. That's filter number 2. The oil, the raw waste oil goes in there. It gets filtered. It looks like this when you get stuff in it. Does a pretty good job. But, you know, some sludge will get by. And I can check the sight line of how much oil is in my tank by looking in that little bung hole right there. Right now the tank has got about, a third or so to that rib right there. So I'm going to actually add some more. So I put the oil in the tank. Then there's a pump right here on this bracket, and it pumps up the oil pressure. It draws it up through this tube, which is sealed, and goes into a stainless filter, which is in the tank. So that's filter number 3. Can't be any air in this line. If there is, it won't draw it up. It goes into this filter here, which looks like I changed it in February 2008. That's filter number 4. There's another filter inside the pump here, which is filter number 5. And then it goes on to the waste oil furnace, which is mounted above. So you can see I've got a white little hash mark here. That's where I like to see the pump operating, about 25 psi. And you can actually look in there. This is the pump itself. There's the electric motor for the pump, and that's the coupler. So this gauge here tells me if I've got a plugged filter within my drum. It'll show a negative value in the red there because it's really trying to suck up the oil. And you can bleed the oil if you have to service the filter or service this in any way by simply just unscrewing this little bleeder screw. So let's make our way over here to the thermostat. It's a simple thermostat. If I want heat, I just certainly flip this from cool to heat. I heard the thermostat kick on, and in a second here, there she goes. See the oil pressure building? It's a little warm in here now, so the oil pressure is not at 25, looks like it's 15, but I don't know if you can tell, that is spinning like crazy. And it's now drawing oil from this drum into this pump and pumping it up to top. I should also say that behind here, where that red light is, I have a separate circuit that I can turn the unit off or on if I leave for the night. So let's go up top and I'll show you how that works up at the furnace. Alright, so we're upstairs in the mezzanine level and we're watching the unit working here. If we look through here and move this magnet, you can see the fire glowing in there. That's oil-fed fire. Actually, I have this. We can actually just look in there. That's oil shooting out of the jet at a target in the back wall there. I like to keep this bungee cord on here. That thing rattles sometimes when it really starts burning. So this is very similar to a normal oil type furnace. What we have here is our oil supply that comes up from down below, and you can see I've got 2 psi coming to the furnace. Right there, have it on 2. This little screen right here shows me how warm it's burning. It's an ohm resistance meter telling me that the furnace is burning, and I've got a 700, roughly 800 ohm flame front. This is my air pressure. You do have to have shop air. You can see I've got a line that runs down. That atomizes the fuel. What we're going to do is we are going to, well, I was going to say shut it off, but I want to click it on here. There's a big fan in the back of the unit here, a 3000 CFM fan, and when it gets to a certain temperature, it'll start blowing heat out these vents. I can override it by pressing this button. I don't know if you can hear that. It's now blowing a little tepid. That's probably 100, 140 degrees. Okay, it kicked on. That's how she works. Then if you look over here past the furnace, you can see my draft tube or draft vent. The furnace makes a horizontal exit, 190-degree bend, and then straight up the roof through stainless steel piping that goes out the roof, and we'll look at that in a minute. So this is an older model, clean burn. It's an AH86. Originally, I actually made an oil furnace for my shop. I really like this. It doesn't smell, it doesn't stink, it burns all my waste oil, all diesel. It burns hydraulic oil, brake fluid, gasoline, anything but coolant. Anything but oil mixed with coolant. You can't do milkshakes from head gaskets. Let's go outside and I'll show you how clean it's burning. Alright, so we're outside and we're looking at the exit of the exhaust stack. If you look really close, you can see a heat mirage, but no smoke. It's slightly raining, so you might see some sizzling on the hot pipes or something like that. But I'm pretty impressed. I can't smell it. I can't see it. It's great. That makes me very happy. Let's go back inside. There's a few more things I want to talk about. Okay, so we're back inside talking about our clean burn furnace. It heats the shop with waste oil. And the one thing I forgot to mention is it burns about 1 gallon an hour on full tilt. On a day like today, it's pretty warm. I'm going to turn this off. It doesn't go off immediately. It's got to actually cool the unit down. You can hear the burner just kicked off, and the pump now is kicked off. So just the fan is running to cool the unit. I go through about 100 gallons of oil per season. I stockpile it, I fill that, and then I have a couple drums outside that I fill and I can swap them around, transfer them as I need them. but it really makes it nice in the shop. You can see it's, when it was 50 degrees outside or 45. I like it about 60 in the shop. It just makes it nice. Your hands don't freeze, your tools don't stick to your hands. It's really, really nice. So that unit up there is probably 40 years old. It's an 1986 AH86. I bought it used. The guy that I got it from bought it used. I've done some improvements. It works great. I love it. I think I paid $1,600 for the unit on Craigslist used, and the stacking kit with the stainless steel was twice that amount. And then it passes code. I had to have a permit. So there you go. If you want to keep your shop warm, keep yourself happy, keep your hands from freezing to your tools, you need some heat. And that thing does a really, really good job. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.